We're going to have a session here, how to build machine learning pipelines in a breeze with Docker. And we have Luis Herrera, who is a CTO in DevOps. So please welcome Luis Herrera.
Yes. So good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this talk, Building Machine Learning Pipelines in a Breeze with Docker. My name is Luis Herrera. I work with a small boutique training and consulting company called DevOps, as Nathaniel said. And during last year, we have to work with the companies, organization that needed to solve very complex problems and start using machine learning to solve them, okay? And I cannot say that I'm an expert on machine learning, but we learned a few things working with data scientists, data engineers, and I want to share some of that, the learnings with you. In particular, I want to convince you that you need to invest in machine learning, and that you are 2 commands away from using machine learning in your current projects with Docker. Okay, so why machine learning? We know software is eating the wall, you're here, okay? To the point that hardware is now a boring commodity. We know public cloud providers are offering PaaS and now container as a service, and IT organizations are rushing to provide exactly the same to their internal customers. And at the same time, more and more applications have been deployed. We're generating more and more data. In organizational learning, that data is the only path to commercial truth. If you can react faster, if you can predict what your customers are going to be doing, you're going to be successful and relevant for your customers. And so there's literally an unhealthy obsession with data. But here's the thing. The volume of data and the pace at which the data is being generated exceeds by far what humans can consume or analyze, okay? So, with machine learning, we're going to be training machines on how to recognize very quickly patterns and relationships in data to solve our problems. And this training process is used to build a model. Probably a lot of you guys are already using machine learning and understand this concept. And the thing is that when more data is acquired, you get more data, you can retrain your solution to have more accurate predictions, for example. And that means that in many cases, you're going to be changing the way one of your components work without patching it or updating it. So maybe in the future, somebody will be standing here and saying that software is a boring commodity. And so machine learning is becoming really important on the promise of providing those insights on the data that we cannot get otherwise using, for example, SQL queries. Now my PowerPoint is freeze. Sorry, guys. Let me see if I can get this to work. No? Oh, here. So the problem with machine learning is that to really provide value to their companies, data scientists and data engineers need to move their models off their laptops and their systems into production. And And that's where the core problem is, because there's a lot of experimentation, lots of libraries, a lot of components, and it's dependency hell. And you guessed it, Docker could be used to help and resolve this problem, to the point that a lot of people say that the biggest revolution in data science or machine learning is not a new approach, a new statistical model, it's Docker. So Docker is helping data scientists to share the work, to let others reproduce the work and complement that work and criticize that work, or to find new uses to the work. So it's fostering collaboration, it's fostering innovation, it's fostering synergies between different parts of the organization that weren't there before, just because I can share my work, okay, using Docker containers. So data scientists are getting more productive and more effective using Docker containers, okay? And something that happens with machine learning applications is that they're very complex system in the sense that they have many components. They are multi-component applications. Sometimes they use also microservices. And we know that Docker is really good in those scenarios, right? Because we need to manage those components. We need to provision, deploy, monitor, look after the resilience of our environments. And Docker really, really simplifies all that. I don't want to carry on talking about theoretical things, so let me give you some real-life examples. For example, this is a company close to my heart, one of the companies we've been helping. They're launching a service called Linguo, which is a social network analysis and monitoring solution developed by Instituto de Ingeniería del Conocimiento, a Spanish company that specializes in machine learning. And what is really interesting about this application is that provides a real-time evaluation of opinions and emotions on consumers, and on people that is talking or for example, about a brand or a new article. In particular, one of their customers is called Planeta Futuro, Planet Future, which is a section in a major Spanish newspaper that is funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And they talk about the Millennium Challenges, okay? So if you think about it, when you talk about Millennium Challenges, anything that you're going to say probably is going to be negative, right? Talking about problems. So using sentiment analysis most likely is going to give you very negative feelings. So they come up with what they call an awareness index. So they're able, doing or using different machine learning models, to detect whether somebody is just sad about these problems or is actually engaged and really interested and want to collaborate or participate on this. So it's a great tool and goes beyond what would be a traditional sentiment analysis. Here's another very interesting company called matchingbox.io. And what they're doing, and here's a tip for you, do bookmark these guys. They're packing state-of-the-art machine learning models and technology inside a Docker container so you can consume it with a Docker run. Okay? So they already have what they call boxes, which are nothing else but images and containers that you can run with this state-of-the-art technology. For example, they have something called Facebox that will detect and recognize faces on any image. The same technology that Facebook, for example, is using. Or nude box that will detect nudity on your images in case you want to check before uploading anything into your website and make sure that you're not offending anybody. Or they have a box to tackle fake news or image that will allow you to do and perform sentiment analysis with a few clicks. They're exposing also APIs so you can consume it within your applications. And there's many areas where you can use this. Literally no area, no vertical, no industry, there's not going to be touched by machine learning. They're already being touched. And somebody says that machine learning is not going to steal your job, but a company or a manager using machine learning will, okay, will replace or your company. So you guys need to invest somehow. And you know what? We don't have to go really far to find examples of machine learning. We already have seen it here at DockerCon. Because when you run and deploy hundreds or thousands of containers, or you just running a few but restarting them on a regular basis, you start getting a lot of logs, a lot of information about resource usage, and you have essentially a big data problem. And we have companies like Twistlog or CoScale using machine learning for monitoring or for security. They are looking, for example, detecting malicious behavior or looking for anomalies on how your containers normally work to alert you and help you maintain and support this system in production. So let's cut the talk and let's do a quick demo. So I'm going to show you how to build a small machine learning pipeline that's going to help you detect what emotion is driving the stock market right now with a few comments, okay? This work is based on Sergio Nabil Hayat work. Sergio works at Instituto de Ingeniería del Conocimiento, and we challenge him to put this together, and we work together to show you this demo, but unfortunately he couldn't be here for a number of reasons. So let me walk you through the demo. So going to have a multi-component application. We have a data extraction agent looking at Twitter feeds, getting those messages into a Kafka messaging queue, and we have an agent that is reading at the other side of the queue and performing sentiment analysis using a sentiment API that's using as the backend Textbox. Remember the company that I mentioned before? Matchingbox.io? That's one of the components. So what Sergio did here is, okay, I'm going to put an app API in front of Textbox because in the future, I'm using my own machine learning model or my own machine learning API to resolve this, okay? So this agent, in turn, is persisting on an Elasticsearch database, and we're going to be consuming or searching and visualizing the data using Kibana. Pretty standard and very easy to build. So I already did, I kind of did. So I'm provisioning here a box in Amazon Web Services, and then I'm connecting to that box, and I'm doing Docker stack deploy. I can show you the Docker Compose file so you have an idea how it looks like. So we have our Kafka queues, we have our Elasticsearch, we're going to have our text box, we're going to have our Kibana there. I already, for the sake of brevity, deployed this solution already on Amazon. Let me make sure that it's up and running there. So I provisioned two two Docker engines, just in case one of them wouldn't work. And I'm already connected to our fear and greed index box or service. It's going to detect whether right now the market is feeling fear or there's some greed out there and investors are really buying stocks like crazy. So Docker stack ls. So I already deploy using Docker stack deploy. My application is composed of 8 services. We can have a look to those services, Docker stack services, and it's here they are. They're up and running. You can see my Kafka again, my Sentiment API, my Kibana, my Textbox container up and running. And now I'm going to go to my Kibana and have a look to the dashboard and see what's there, what I've been collecting. So it's going to look like this, okay? We're going to get all the tweets, and we're going to create a dashboard. It's going to tell us what the market or investors are talking about on Twitter and whether the sentiment is positive or negative, whether there is fear or greed, okay? So here it is. That's real time, and as you can see here on Kibana, I'm visualizing the different tweets, and I'm putting just beside the tweet the sentiment, okay? So the sentiment is a number between -100, fear, extreme fear, and 100, greed. So you can see how this model is saying that, for example, let me have a look. This one here, economic data, festive cheer-lift Indian shares to record high. So that's really positive, right? So we have a very strong sentiment there. And based on that, I'm creating a dashboard. Here's a real-time dashboard where I can see over time what's the average sentiment. There's a few times, this is by the hour, by the way. There's a few times during the day where the sentiment has been negative. There was some sort of fear or neutral sentiment, but most of the time it's really positive. And we can see here by the hour the number of tweets that we're gathering, collecting, and analyzing. And instead of having just fear and greed, here also decided to put a sentiment in the neutral zone. So I'm not too scared, but I'm not greedy right now. Just seeing what's going on, right? Just tweeting to, what things I'm neutral about the market. And we're also creating a cloud map saying or showing what investors are talking about. So they're talking about the SP 500, for example, quite a lot. For some reason, they're talking about the exchange rate between the British pound and the US dollar, for example. Okay? And we can, if we go here, we can see the aggregates, and potentially an investment house can use this to as another input for their investment decisions. Okay? But you can use this also to see where your customer are thinking about you, about your brand, and detect spikes on negative sentiments about your brand, for example. Just to mention one of the applications that you can potentially have with this technology. So with a few commands and using a standard Docker containers, I build a pipeline. And you can do too. So I encourage you, for example, and let me get in the next part of the presentation. I encourage you to invest on this, and I'm going to give you some references so you can explore a little bit more if you are interested in this arena, whether you're already an experienced data scientist or data engineer, or you're just aspiring to get to know how to use this on your projects. I recommend you to read the master algorithm from Pedro Domingos, which is a very nice introduction to machine learning without all the deep map. So it's a really good overview of what machine learning is. You can use Sergio's social field grid index to build your own pipelines. I encourage you to visit matchingbox.io if you have the opportunity. Let me put it here to make sure that everybody hit that page now. So it has a developer free license, so you can experiment and do things like recognize faces, as we were mentioning. Text box, this is the one we're using on the demo. Tag box, that will help you, for example, tag your images, describe what's on the scene there on your images, nude box or fake box. And they are open to new boxes that are experimenting and talking about new solutions there. And if you're really, really interested, you can reach me. Also, we're running a 2 days training course where we go through all this in a high level of detail with Adolo Labs. And we're giving by the way, a 20% discount if you hit that link over there, DockerCon20 on Bitly, and you respond and give your email. You will be entitled to that discount. And if not, just reach out. This is my Twitter handle, and you can know more about me there. And that's it, guys. So I hope that you guys get inspired a little bit to start using machine learning in your projects, that you see how easy could it be to start using it and experiment with it, okay? And I'm gonna leave to Alex Ellis, which has an amazing demo ready for you guys too. And that will be it for me.